Way to go, Tic Tac!
That's how you punch.
Wakanda forever!
You wouldn't have heard of me.
Let me put you on hold.
Dance off, bro! He's a friend from work!
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
What up, guys? It's Dom, and welcome back to another TV show review. Today we are going over and ranking House Season 2. I think they did a great job in Season 2. I think they improved in every aspect that you really could, which is very good because a lot of the times, I mean, this is Season 2, so it doesn't happen often, but once it gets to the later seasons, they're just trying to force episodes out there, even if it's not the best quality, just because they want to continue the series obviously going. But that was definitely not visible here, which is good. But of course, it is only Season 2, so who knows what happens once I get to Season 8. But overall, really satisfied with Season 2. Let's get into why with the 7 essential aspects of a TV show. The first essential aspect is plot. So Season 2 definitely had more of a continuous plot than Season 1 did. It definitely was more story-driven compared to every single episode is just different and they're not connected in any way. That Season 1 kind of had that, but it had a continuous plot, just wasn't as continuous as this one, for example, because every episode just felt like a continuation of the same story, even though they stuck to the same kind of program where it was different patients every single day, because that's the entertaining part of the show. It is the different patients with different diagnostics and figuring that out. That is what is entertaining about the show. So they obviously have to keep that, but I think they did put a little bit more effort into the main story that this season had, and I found myself enjoying it. I think it was very smooth, and the way that they actually applied it to each episode and each things that happened or each patient that they saw still reflected upon the main story. So I thought it was well done, it was well written, and it was continuous, which doesn't always happen with every TV show. The second essential aspect is attraction. Now I'm really enjoying this show. I think the level of attractiveness this season had is high in regards of my point of view. But again, like I mentioned in Season 1 and like I'm going to mention in all these seasons, it has to be up your alley. You have to enjoy the medical genre to really get fully invested in this show and like what's going on. Because, I mean, in Season 2, they were a lot more realistic than in Season 1. I mean, not saying that Season 1 wasn't realistic, but there is some moments where if you're not into blood or you don't like the realism part of the medical shows, it's not going to be as interesting for you, or you're not going to want to watch it as much as Season 1, for example. But I think that even if you don't like the medical stuff, the parts and pieces that this show has, and especially this season, that brings towards the audience, you'll enjoy it. You'll want to watch it. You'll want to continue to see it, even though you might not like the medical genre. So I think the attractiveness is there. The third essential aspect is dialogue. I mean, there's not much bad things I can say about the dialogue. All of it felt real, and it felt like actual conversations being had between people. So there's not much I can really say about it. I mean, especially since these actors have to say long medical terms that some of them I probably wouldn't even be able to pronounce first try. So the fact that it sounds so smooth coming out of their mouths, I mean, they did good with dialogue. The fourth essential aspect is acting. The acting that they did in this season is definitely better than Season 1. Even though the acting was good in Season 1, there was just the story that was brought up in Season 2 gave them a bigger chance of having a really good acting scene many times. And I mean, they really did commit. They did a fantastic job. Some examples of that are Hugh Laurie, who played Dr. House. He did fantastic. Obviously, he's the star of the show, so he needs to do good for the show to do good. Otherwise, why would he be the main character? So I'm not really going to mention too much more about him because he did well in every single episode. Someone I do also want to mention is Robert Sean Leonard, who played Dr. Wilson. He was kind of more of a side character in the first season. However, in Season 2, he came more to the forefront. He was more of a main character. You got to see more about his story, and I think Robert did a really good job of emphasizing of what kind of person Wilson is and what he will do with House and for the hospital, and overall being a realistic doctor and being good in that role. So I did want to shout him out here. And Omar Epps, who played Dr. Foreman. Now, I did mention him in the last Season 1 review. He is more of one of just House's assistants, so he didn't really have too much of a big role. He was a main character, but he wasn't. He definitely stepped up in this season. I feel like towards the end of the season, there's some of these big episodes, this two-parter, and it is a lot about Foreman, and the level of acting displayed out of him in those scenes was really, really good. You felt the same pain he was feeling. You felt like you were in the situation with him. And it is hard to do that. I mean, I'm not an actor, so obviously I wouldn't be able to do that. But I haven't seen like really, really good acting like that in a lot of different TV shows. So obviously there's some that are clear that you can always remember. And for me, this is one of those where I will remember these scenes because of how well he acted in them. So I wanted to mention those three. Obviously, there's a lot more than just three characters in this show, but to me, when I'm doing these TV show reviews, I just don't want to list off every single actor, so I will mention the ones that are the most noteworthy out of that season. So those are the ones to me that stuck out. The fifth essential aspect is cinematography. So this kind of goes with that acting and those scenes that I was talking about. The cinematic impact that this season had definitely beats out season one. I felt more connected to the characters, especially with the character development that they did show. So when it came to those scenes with Foreman and with House and Wilson and all the other doctors, it hit me deeper. So yes, that is because I watched season one first and I already got enveloped with these characters, but also just the way that the story was going had more of an emotional cinematic feel to me than the first season did. And obviously when it comes to visuals, it looks fine. It does exactly what it needs to do. It doesn't need any crazy CGI or anything. All the medical scenes do look realistic though, so I will give them that. The sixth essential aspect is soundtrack. So just like in season one, I mean, the soundtrack isn't memorable. If I hear the theme of the main intro credits of the show just out and about, I will recognize it, that it is House, but it's not such a crazy, interesting intro where I will remember and it will be stuck in my head. It's not one of those. But for what it is, sure, it's slightly memorable. And the seventh essential aspect is time. I think season two definitely had portions in it that I will remember. It definitely has memorable episodes. That is actually a mistake that I made recording some of the other ones, is I kind of kept saying if the show stood the test of time, but I should be saying if this specific season stood the test of time. I definitely think it does. I think the level of acting towards the end of the season and those scenes in particular are going to be fried into my head, so I will remember them. And I think overall the season being, the first season is always going to be memorable because it's the first season. The second season sometimes does get lost depending on the quality, and I have to say the quality is there enough where it will be remembered. If you remember House MD, some of the episodes from this season might be the ones that pop in your head first. Now, onto the rating. Personally, I really liked this season. I think it's definitely an improvement on the first one. It's not perfect because it's really hard to get a perfect season where every episode is just better and better and better and just is overall cinema. So it's really hard for me to really put one season above another. I personally think that this one is like an 87. I just wanted to put it slightly above the 85 that I gave the first season. I think it's really good, high quality. No, it's obviously not perfect. It's not going to be in that 90 marks, but definitely does not deserve to be less than that 85 that I put at season one. And finally, the rankings. So individually, I'm going to have it first above season one. Now, this should be obvious by this point because I spent so long comparing the two. But yeah, I think overall the seasons are very similar. I think the plot and the acting is just better in season two compared to season one, which, I mean, again, reiterating, season one is not bad. It has great acting, has a great plot. I just think that the improvement is notable enough where I need to mention it. And in all time, it's going to be first above Blue Mountain State season 1 through 3. I think, honestly, the first two seasons of House already have more to give than the 3 seasons of Blue Mountain State. I think that when it comes to the actual art of cinema and making TV shows and making good stories, good plots, and interesting show to watch, House definitely has Blue Mountain State in that kind of category, just because BMS is all about entertainment. The only thing which TV shows that's the main goal of them, but it is good to have a continuous plot alongside that to keep you engaged with the show, which I just don't think BMS has. I think the plot is good enough where you don't, like, it doesn't pull you out completely and it's like, okay, this is just like stand-up comedy. No, it has its own plot. It's just not as grown and fulfilling, I guess is the term I'm going to use, as House. I think you get a lot more connected with the characters of House MD compared to just Blue Mountain State, especially since the first and second season already have a continuous plot, and you didn't really get a good plot until season 3 of Blue Mountain State. So I don't know. To me, it just screams that this deserves the number 1 spot over BMS for now. So that's where I'll put it. That's all I have for House Season 2. If you guys enjoyed this review, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and make sure to comment what movie or TV show you want me to review next. If you want to see someone that does something kind of similar, he doesn't do TV shows, he does strictly movies. But check out my best friend, Mr. Majoritarian. He does the same thing I do with the lists, with the ranking, ratings, and all the 10 essential aspects. He does, however, have 2 different lists. He has one for cinematography and one for entertainment. So if you want to see 2 different lists, definitely go check them out. I think some people might enjoy it more than my one list because it's a little more to digest. But, I mean, check them out and you'll see. His link will always be in my description. And I hope you guys have an amazing night. Peace out.